Hello, everyone. I am Alex Siskos, Senior Vice President of Customer Success and Marketplace Strategy for Everseen. In my role, I focus on driving growth and customer success across the end-to-end customer experience for our retailers. And I'm also responsible for marketplace intelligence and ecosystem collaborations that can help drive additional opportunity for our retailers, as well as help Everseen expand into new use cases, channels, and industries. I'm based out of Dallas, joined Everseen in 2017 to augment existing retail systems and processes with the intelligence one can gather from edge AI computer vision, what I like to call instant gratification for both operator and shopper, taking action in crucial moments while enhancing the experience for all. I'm excited to share Everseen's story and a slew of insights with you today. I will focus on the retail business problems we address, moving to Everseen's unique value proposition, and ending with how we help guide you towards the most direct path to maximizing shrink reduction and loss recovery. But first, I wanted to start with a short message and overview about Everseen from our founder and CEO, Alan Herlihy.
Everseen is an artificial intelligence company specialized in computer vision in retail. We basically link into the video cameras in the store above the checkouts, and from there we can detect in real time irregular activity. CCTV cameras in the past were very non-intelligent. We're about putting intelligence into those cameras and really breaking down the pixels, and from there taking actions. Started off with 4 people in Blackpool, County Cork. We're still headquartered here, but we're now 1,000 people globally. Back in 2008, we had the idea. 2012, we kind of had a breakthrough where we brought it to the Irish market. We grew from there. In 2016, brought it to the US market, and that's where really everything started growing exponentially. And from 2016 to now, that was really when the company really grew. We're working with retailers on protecting their profits, protecting their people. Our technology is in a lot of self-checkouts, a lot of staff lanes as well, and it's basically protecting the product from theft. And so shrink is a big problem out there globally. It's a $100 billion problem and growing, and has been growing at a huge rate. Basically, it's affecting the EBITDA of these big retailers globally, and it's eating into their EBITDA. So there's a huge demand on Everseen right now with their computer vision AI to help counteract that battle for shrink. Running, I think right now in about 140,000 checkouts globally. We got massive support here locally. There's a really good ecosystem here with talent, but also I think a launchpad into the rest of the world, really setting us up for an exciting future.
Thank you, Alan. We're often referred to as the leader in edge computer vision AI solutions for global retailers, with proven results for reducing shrinkage, recovering loss, and driving cost savings, all while improving customer experience. Since 2008, we've been on a mission to protect people, product, and profitability. Our retail heritage, coupled with process engineering acumen, sits alongside experienced and proven inventors and technologists that have enabled us to see and solve critical business processes with ethical and explainable AI at our core. We are now backed by Crosspoint Capital, a long-term investor eager to provide support and advice with the goal of our large-scale strategic growth. One of our key design principles is to understand the business problem at hand. What is it that we're solving for? We approach shrink just as our retail customer base does, appreciating that shrink can be due to theft, waste, error, or accident. It was clear early on that several retail systems of record had holes in their datasets. As such, when we looked at computer vision, we treated it as the ability to put eyes on various scenes at the front, middle, and back of the store, and to begin to offer the missing context to inform intelligent action. In real time, in the moments that matter the most, what should one do next? Today, we will focus on the front of the store, and specifically the checkout area. So how does one solve for the hidden loss in critical retail processes? I wanted to start by revisiting some of what we talked about as an industry when it comes to shrink loss data. According to NRF's most recent retail security survey, retailers are reporting a total of $112 billion in losses for 2022. That is on the average 1.6% of their total annual revenue, an almost 15% increase in shrink year over year. 13% of these retailers are reporting shrink of 3% or greater, and 69% of them are still concerned about loss at self-checkout. A bit lower than last year, but still enough to have 45% of them reconsider store operating hours for a specific set of stores as a tactic to combine this challenge. And yes, while media might be working hard to oftentimes sensationalize this fact, when you put all these numbers into perspective, the facts suggest that in every $1 billion of retail sales, this hidden loss costs us between $15 million to $20 million. So can retailers see and solve any of this challenge? Well, at Everseen, we know we can, both see and solve, and we would like to share with you the how. It starts by stopping the most prevalent shrink behaviors, the top causes of loss at self-checkout and staff lanes. We have listed 7 of the 20 plus behaviors we now tackle worldwide, and we will share a few examples to illustrate how the solution works, starting with non-scan or skip scan, as some of our retail customers refer to it. As shoppers continue to choose self-checkout as part of their regular shopping routine, skip scans can often occur when a shopper does not point the barcode directly to the scanner or accidentally hides it with their palm of their hand. Our technology replays a short video of the misscan, helping point out to the shopper the item involved and empowering them to self-correct by rescanning the items as you see in the video. As basket sizes increased for SCO, we observed the pattern of shoppers forgetting or leaving an item in the basket unscanned when attempting to close out the transaction. Malicious or not, the same video will replay, but this time we will pause the transaction and call for an attendant to come to assist, allowing the associate to quickly greet the customer, make sense of the scene, acknowledge the issue, and provide the customer service needed. When and how we soft nudge shopper versus hard stop a transaction is completely configurable. We work with our retailers and their associates to ensure that this is fit for purpose and suitable for their front-end strategy and overall customer experience objectives. In this third video, you see an item left at the bottom of the shopping cart, something our AI caught by configuring the field of view wider to be able to accommodate a checkout area dedicated to transactions with a larger unit count using a shopping cart. Earlier this year, we shared an insight nugget from our global shrink barometer focused on this cart-based loss, one of the fastest growing shrink behaviors at self-checkout and one that doubled in 2023. Cart-based loss last year accounted for almost 1/3 of all incidents we observed at self-checkout. Average items left unscanned in the cart increased from a 1.6 to 3.8 items per incident. That is over 138% increase year over year. The value of those items increased 106% to $22.90. The loss for an average supermarket is estimated to exceed $102,000 per year. To put this loss into context, an average supermarket operating 12 SCOs will do about $600,000 in sales in a week, about $31 million or so a year, making this $102,000 loss less than 0.5% of their total sales. Again, this is only one component of the financial model, one source of the loss at SCO, one behavior, not the story in its totality. But with grocery stores running on very thin margins, 0.5 percentage point is not something to come by easily. And when we do, we take the win. We also celebrate the fact that the problem is getting harder for those trying to steal and leaving items in the basket as their method. We are uniquely positioned to recover loss and drive this bottom line impact. We are now protecting over 140,000 checkout edge points across our global set of retailers spanning 3 continents. We are driving annually over 1% of margin improvement for this customer base. Mike Lamb, Vice President of Asset Protection and Safety at Kroger, recently shared on NRF's Big Idea stage that in the absence of this technology, we would probably be in a far worse place than what we are today. Let's shift gears into how we work, and more specifically cover 3 core differentiators. We design our solution offering around the critical mission of protecting people, product, and profitability, with our North Star being how we offer the most direct path to maximizing shrink reduction and loss recovery. I will take you through 3 points of core differentiation, starting with how we digitize our retail process in real time, how we enable the application of advanced analytic methods to interact with both shoppers and associates, and last but not least, how we ensure continuous improvement of our solution set at the edge. Our heritage is in retail process engineering. We see everything as a process. People, fixed objects like a SCO, products, all comprise of the entities, states, and transitions involved in a process. In this video, we are sharing Shopper Zero, one of our first installs, illustrating to you all that this is a specific scene from a specific process, both fluid and dynamic. Each process has a standard operating procedure. In this case, I pick a product, I scan a product, I place it in the bag, and I pay. But we all know we often deviate from the standard, the expected, the desired. And when something deviates from the process, when it is irregular, as Alan mentioned earlier, we need to understand the why behind it. So why does digitizing a process in real time matter so much? Some of you might remember when Google first showed us the ability to identify a cat and distinguish it from other animals after examining a series of photographs. One of the first business applications of this capability was used to identify the authenticity of a Prada bag, shown on the left-hand side of this page. Over 700 images, to be exact, were fed into an algorithm, allowing one to call a Prada a fake or a not. This is called single frame analysis. I want you to consider something. When I grab any object, my cell phone, for example, and I hand it over to any one of you, how we both hold it differs. How that product moved from one set of hands to another differs. We realized early on that we need to understand more than just still images of the product. We needed to know the product in hand. Most importantly, we needed to know the product in motion. As you watch the video on the right, we asked our developers to share a sequence of how our edge computer vision AI contextualizes. What is it observing? What does it identify? And eventually, how does it go about recommending the next action to take? You'll see several components in this scene as it unfolds. The pick area, the scan area, the drop area, an employee, and a customer, all different components. I sometimes ask our operators, if I was to place you on a swing over the SCO, what would you be looking for? What would you notice that matters? Our AI strives to learn from us to do the exact same thing, to learn when and how to best apply game and nudge theory to balance between shrink risk and customer experience. Not all stores are created equal, and for that matter, not all SCO, bullpen, or valley configurations are either. But everything we do takes into consideration the risk, the safety, and the customer experience in all these different permutations. It is truly a blend of art and science. In box 1, our countermeasures. Every single one of these was built for purpose, or as a response to the most prevalent shopping behaviors and five-finger fraud patterns that we've observed on a daily basis. Moving into box 2, these behaviors were associated to everyday shoppers, the green actors, but also those with malicious intent, the red actors, and finally, the store associates that will oversee the SCO operations. We've come to know the red actors quite well. For them, their nefarious behavior is literally a risk-reward function. They're like water looking for the path of least resistance to get away with theft. For the honest mistakes during checkout, for the green actor and the associate alike, it's all about their learning curve with the self-checkout. So through our unique partnership, we'll be able to blend these two curves from box 2 into a deliberate effort to alter the path of both honest mistakes and nefarious actions. How we nudge or interrupt such behaviors will help us strategize on how to best equip the retail associates responsible for SCO operations. But as you guessed it, it's all a balancing act, something we definitely treat as a balancing act, one that has no scientific method or even a best practice. Because at the end of the day, it depends on what you want, you, the customer. Some of you ask us to make this invisible to the shopper and give them the benefit of the doubt. Others want the nefarious activity to be caught and stopped on the spot. Let's work through an example. Let's start with the red actor on the left. All red actors have one mission: beat the house. Some do it at no regard to risk or cost. You catch those people quickly. But others look to you. They look to understand what barriers you've put in place. They study them, and they look for ways to overcome and ultimately beat you at it. As mentioned previously, red actors are like water. At the first point of resistance, they'll look for another path. They go from doing fake scans first, to moving to product switching, to leaving items abandoned at the bottom of the cart, or they just drop items in the bag, bypassing scanning altogether, as we see in this video. Our unique partnership will add speed bumps in this road of the red actor to alter, in a very controlled manner, their harmful traffic pattern, if you may. But this is not an overnight change. But rest assured, you have altered the economics of the situation. The goal is to detect the theft pattern, to recover the loss, and to ultimately deter the behavior, move it away from your store. So let's move to the right, to the unintentional, to the green actor that experienced a misscan, and in this case, a misscan simply by holding the barcode away from the scanner, facing up as opposed to down. Skip scans could happen due to bad packaging, a bad barcode, a missing UPC in the system. I often use my father's first experience at SCO with his nemesis, frozen green peas. The barcode would never scan for him originally. So soft nudging him, showing him this short GIF, pointing out the mistake, offered him the opportunity to learn over time how to best hold the product, how to handle the barcodes that needed to be positioned optimally against the scanner, and ultimately help him become the self-proclaimed ninja scanner he states he is now at his local grocery store. The ability to break down behavior and intent to ensure the how and the when of our next best action to take is a balancing act that's achieved through measurement. It is something that we do with you and not to you. We follow the data and we do it in accordance with your shrink performance and how you compare against your peer group. Each day, we protect over 220 million SKUs that we see in over 22 million shopper transactions across our universe of over 140,000 checkouts. This represents a daily component of our Federated AI training, Everseen's continuous learning process. If a human were to stack this input to watch it, it would amount to streaming close to 3 centuries of video. Not your typical weekend Netflix binge, is it? But all this data represents a constant flow of global signals and patterns of theft encountered across our customer base. We use it to update our shrink AI models, which makes us the only outfit in town with this barometer view of external shrink impacting your stores. Statistically relevant inputs are securely injected real time into a federated AI learning framework, updating our solution with the countermeasure ingredients necessary for you to combat the most prevalent global threat scenarios. Being able to know how one compares to industry peers is priceless. And it would not be possible if we were not the creator and manager of the largest annotated retail data set in the world. We represent the largest retail data factory, and coupled with our shrink domain acumen, makes us one of the most experienced partners for asset protection, safety, and AI technology application. We never stop learning, and we reapply any insights gained to the continuous battle against shrink. So let me bring it all together and share how these differentiators influence the customer journey. This is something we do with and not to you, as I said earlier. It's a mutual commitment to work collaboratively towards offering you the most direct path to max shrink reduction. It is not a once and done install. We don't treat this as a tool, nor as a one size fits all approach. Rather, we operate with a continuous process improvement mindset, the expectation of proactive value generation. We hold ourselves accountable to your outcomes. On the one end, it starts with benchmarking you against the global comparative data set of your grocery peers, enabling deeper insights into various store formats, banners, and any other store cluster strategy you may be using to manage your business or review results of key initiatives like this one. On the other hand, you gain visibility into a global retail theft barometer. We provide you with a collective global retailer red actor activity, informing you of the most dominant risk behaviors and enabling you to proactively respond and deploy Everseen countermeasures fit for purpose. You have a first row seat in our product roadmap. You influence our solution. You offer enhancement and suggestions. Always customer in and technology out. Never the other way around. Quarter after quarter, we will let the data drive our collective decisions. We work process, people, and technology as one to decide the sequence of countermeasures used to deploy. This is more than simply improving our detection ability. This is about recovery of a product that would otherwise have left the store unaccounted for. This is about perpetual inventory accuracy, about customer experience all along it. How you want that experience to play out at your registers, that balance between soft nudging a shopper to self-correct versus an associate intervening to aid in a transaction is completely configurable and always in your hands to drive. It's all part of what we call value assurance at Everseen, the perfect balance between shrink reduction and customer experience improvement. If best practices taught us anything, it is to look beyond shrink levels when we are determining where to move next. It is imperative that we work together to understand how to accelerate the speed to value of this undertaking. We promise you, our speed is your top speed. We offer a few areas of consideration when working with our retailers, all key to accelerating speed to value. When starting off with an initiative like this, store count is not as important as the variety of assortment of stores we will be testing. We look for different shrink levels, sales, transaction counts, and any other key store cluster strategy you might use to measure the impact of change across your estate. Furthermore, we pay very close attention to checkout configuration. We will look for differences so we can understand what might come in our way when we're rolling out. Do you have a low or a high score count? What is the balance of staffed versus self-checkout lanes? What is the ratio of associates to self-checkout lanes? Are you using a 1 or 2 bag self-checkout unit? What is the difference between your Siskos? Are there any other front end or store prototype layouts and configurations that we need to understand and align with this go forward strategy and what we're going to be doing? And like I said again, the speed of deployment is how fast can we deploy together? What is the labor allocation? What is the competitive trade area? Is there any diverse geography? Are there any third-party implementers and integrators that we need to take into consideration to maximize speed to value? On that note, we usually ask for the store located closest to your CFO and your CEO, and for that matter, any other board member, so they can see the impact firsthand. Having them interact with the AI, talking to the store associates early on is paramount. It helps move them from seeing is believing to touching is understanding, and our favorite, why the heck is this not in all of our stores? We hold ourselves accountable to your outcomes. We strive to earn your trust beyond just being partners, but drive to be a trusted advisor on the journey to value assurance, pointing out along the way what loss you can avoid that we can ultimately and uniquely mitigate, and what gain you can achieve that we can uniquely enable. As one of our customers put it, we seek to bridge perspectives, create one voice with the data, driving towards one goal, loss recovery, while unleashing the potential of AI across your total store estate. I wanted to close with sharing that we have opened this proprietary computer vision platform to our retail customers, third-party technology providers, and any other solution provider in order for them to build their own computer vision AI solution, leveraging both our scale and extensive reach. This will enable them to plug and play in isolation, but also work together to help us create an interconnected ecosystem, placing key facts in the hands of the decision maker on the shop floor, as well as back at the corporate home office. Later this year, we'll be sharing news of some of these exciting collaborations that are already underway. Until then, we wanted to thank you for your time and your consideration of Everseen's unique value proposition. We want to give a special call out and thank you to our friends at Conversations on Retail for extending us the opportunity to continue the dialogue on one of the industry's largest opportunities.